Hey you guys, this is the JRPG King. I've been following along on this Rachel Zegler situation. And all I'm going to say is, you're going to sue people because they make a joke about you. Apparently, she tried to get lawyers to sue the creators of South Park. And of course, the judge basically dismissed it and said it's protected speech because it was. There was no slander or misinformation. It's a satire. That's all it is. They weren't slandering or defaming you. They were mocking you because you publicly went on record and told everybody off that, if you don't like the original Snow White, then there's something wrong with you. She basically downed all the people that enjoyed the original Snow White that was back in, was it 1939 or something like that? It was the 1930s. I wasn't even born then. But, dear God, come on. Maybe you should look at yourself and see what you're saying out of your mouth, because you're saying a lot of stuff that is going to get you a lot of negativity. I hate to say that. That's how the internet works. Especially if you're showing this negative, toxic attitude when you speak. Of course, you're going to be treated like dirt. That's just how the world works, honey. So, Rachel Zegler, maybe it's time to look at yourself and go, okay, maybe I went too far in disrespecting anybody that wants to check out the original Snow White, or, maybe I shouldn't say this out of my mouth. She just runs her mouth off like no tomorrow. And you wonder why the movie bombed. Now, I know one of my friends went to watch this movie. That's fine. Hey, if you like it, that's cool. But let's be real. The things she said out of her mouth, it was unwarranted. And, of course, she's going to get a lot of negative backlash. Should people make death threats or harass her? No. If I see any death threats towards her, I will call them out. But if people are just making memes and just poking fun at you and just, laughing at your stupidity, grow a spine and deal with it. End of story.
Downs of the episode. But beyond the noise, one big question started looming. Could a joke really be worth $100 million? Rachel's legal team argued yes. They claimed that the episode damaged her professional reputation, that some studios actually pulled casting offers after the parody aired. One studio exec allegedly said they'd wait until the controversy dies down. On the flip side, South Park's defense was simple. It's a joke. A parody. No reasonable viewer could believe the Pastel Kingdom and the snack budget nonsense were anything but absurd satire. And historically, courts have agreed. Satire, even offensive satire, is protected speech. But the shadow hanging over all of this? Disney. They weren't named in the lawsuit, but sources say the Mouse House was watching closely. They're concerned that court proceedings might expose internal chaos behind the Snow White reboot.
I'm sorry that the Snow White movie sucked, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry at all that we forced, basically, as a company, Daily Wire forced Snow White into production again.
If subpoenaed, production notes, emails, even test screenings could come under scrutiny, potentially revealing that South Park's parody hit a little too close to the truth. Behind the scenes, Trey and Matt were reportedly itching to do what they always do, turn the scandal into an episode.
And this started with the movie star Rachel Zegler, who I believe would be categorized as a loudmouth dope.
There were rumors of early scripts with puppet judges, parody courtrooms, and even a musical titled Sue Me Gently, but their lawyers shut it down. Any new joke could be used against them. So for once, they stayed quiet. Meanwhile, Rachel launched a controlled PR campaign. She appeared on late-night shows, tearfully explaining the emotional toll of becoming a viral punchline.
As an actor, you don't get to dictate anything. You don't get to dictate if a film actually happens. You don't get to dictate when it is shot, how it is shot, if you can ever speak about it to the public. You are simply just there to show up and say your lines and look the way they want you to look. That is our job.
She said she respected satire, but this went too far. For some, her honesty hit home. For others, it just reinforced the joke. Eventually, the case went to trial, and it felt more like a red carpet event than a courtroom battle. Reporters swarmed the building. Protesters and fans clashed outside with signs and slogans. Inside, things got serious. Rachel's lawyers showed clips of the episode, arguing that younger viewers, especially online, couldn't distinguish parody from reality. They said it was character assassination, plain and simple. Trey and Matt testified in their own defense. They admitted they chase controversy, they admitted they don't pull punches, but they denied malice. "We chase absurdity," Matt said. "If people think that's real, that's a cultural problem, not a creative one." Then Rachel took the stand. Her testimony was raw. She spoke about panic attacks, lost jobs, and feeling like her career had been hijacked by a cartoon version of herself. She wasn't trying to silence satire, she said. She was trying to defend her dignity. The jury deliberated for 3 days.
God forbid a woman dream about true love. We're all just sitting around here, maybe I could be president one day. I hate men, I just want to be president. That screams Disney princess. Oh my God, I'm literally getting enraged. Once again, I feel like I'm back in 2022.
And then the verdict, not liable. While the court sympathized with Rachel's experience, it ruled the episode was satire, protected by the First Amendment. The jokes may have been cruel, but cruelty, the court said, is not defamation. Outside, Rachel gave a short statement, thanking her supporters and vowing to continue advocating for respectful storytelling. Trey and Matt, they offered just 6 words. "We're going back to work." And they did. Rachel moved on to indie films, landing a gritty drama that reminded everyone, yes, she can actually act.
Now, does the video make a good point about satire, how it does go too far? Yes. In the case of South Park, I don't believe the satire went too far because they just joke about everything. And the thing is, like, as long as people are not mocking people committing suicide or have committed suicide or mocking people that just recently gone too far, I don't see what the problem with making comedy is. I don't think it's going too far. Like, take me, for example. You know, some people don't understand my digital execution. They don't think it's funny. They think it's a ripoff because I took a bunch of clips and just added text to it. Okay, but the point is, some people like it. See, people will find something funny and others won't find it really that funny at all. And that goes with comedy in general. Like, some people won't get it, some people do. You know what I mean? But in this case with South Park, like, all they're doing is just making satire. They're not going as far to do it out of malice. They're just doing it to get everybody to laugh. We need laughter in this current age, especially now with recessions and, you know, people are talking about if the tariffs are bad or not. I'm not here to really get into that. You can make what you will about the tariffs, but my point is there's a lot of shitty things going on in this world, and satire is the reason why we're still mentally sane. It's not like when the 2020 and the pandemic came around. People were just really miserable. People went crazy. People committed, offing themselves, commit Minecraft. I'm not going to say the S word because they'll age restrict my video. But what I'm trying to say is the comedy is harmless. I don't think it goes too far. I do draw the line of mocking people who have talked about committing suicide or have committed suicide. I definitely agree that is crossing the line. I don't believe that's freedom of speech. That should be protected freedom of speech. I would argue against that. But if it's just making fun of somebody and, taking some controversy, what's the problem with it? But that's just my take on this whole Rachel Zegler situation. What do you guys believe? Does satire go too far at times, or do you think it's just harmless fun? All right, I'm out.